sit down before I'm even ready to do this. Okay. Hello, my crochet friends. Are you guys ready for today's video? It is all about blankets. Blankets that are started, blankets that are in the middle of being done, blankets that are almost done, blankets that just need their tail ends sewn in, okay? I'm going to give you a real quick look. I have every single blanket I own that I've made in the last couple years piled up on my couch. And today we're going to count them and go through them. You guys ready? Okay, there we go. My couch is 7 feet long. And it is piled high full of blankets. See that? Alright, crafters, crocheters, knitters, yarn enthusiasts, today's going to be a long video, so I could break it up into 2 parts, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be at least an hour doing this, okay? I have a lot of blankets to go through. So my name is Jenny, welcome to Granny Square Peg, where I like to make blankets and then do absolutely nothing with them but pile them up and keep them forever. Alright, so these are in no particular order. When I'm done with you guys, I'm going to put them in chronological order by the oldest to the newest, but that'll be later, and that'll be off camera. So you guys ready? Now you guys grab a little piece of paper and a pen, okay? Keep track and write down how many blankets I have, because I'm not counting them. So let me know down in the comments below, please, if you don't mind. I've got so much to do. Alright, so this is a baby blanket I made a couple years ago. It's made with a spider stitch. Spider stitch is a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch. Kind of like a V-stitch, but we use double crochets for a V-stitch. So when you use single crochets, it's called a spider stitch. And then when you come back on the next row, you do your single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the chain 1 space. I like the texture of a spider stitch, okay? And then I did nice big color blocks with my favorite color, creamy white, with some orange, creamy white, orange, creamy white. Now, thankfully, this one is completely done. I don't have to do anything else to it. So, baby blanket. Okay. Granny Square baby blankets. Just a traditional granny square, and I know the variegated color does not show up very well on the camera, but it is a light shade of brown with a creamy white and a light shade of pink, and it's supposed to look like what do we call it, the ice cream that's chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Neapolitan, is that what we call it? I don't know, but that's what it's supposed to look like. And then, when I did the variegated color, I did some brown, I did the variegated, I did the cream, and then I finished it off in a pink. This one is completely done. So there's a baby blanket. Now, all of these blankets are going to be in future videos, and I will give you more details on them, how big they are, what kind of yarn I used, when I made them. But for now, just a quick overview. So another baby blanket. More variegated colors in the middle. And then, variegated colors all the way through? Yeah, I don't even know. I have to find some notes for it. But either way, it's creamy, and it's blue, and it's green, and it's brown, right? And then I finished it off in this blue. How many times can you say blue? I don't know. It's blue. Colonial blue. Baby blue. Okay. Move my phone before it gets buried in the pile. Today is Sunday, October 30th, 2022. Now here's another baby blanket that's in a traditional granny square. So this one is pink, white, and purple variegated. Then I did purple, then I did white, and then I did pink for the end. And I did a little scallop border on there, which should be 5, 6, 7 double crochets, I'm not sure. Well, hopefully you can see them while I'm folding them back up, right? Alright, another baby blanket made with a number 5 bulky weight yarn in a corner to corner, okay? And of course it's got dark purple, light purple, darker purple, and the pink all mixed with white. I didn't put a border on this one because sometimes with the corner to corner I feel like they don't need them, but convince me otherwise. Alright, so for a while, a couple of years ago, I was completely fascinated with the half double crochet done in between stitches. And when I was pulling all the blankets out, there's like 4 or 5 in this pile, plus there's one I already did a video on, and actually one I just got done making, which is actually very similar to this one because it's all pink and white. So this should be half double crochets in between stitches with actually random leftover yarns that I had. So the bottom part is a pink and white stripe, right? With some darker pink here, and then this lighter shade of pink here, and then this for the border. These are like 4 different types of yarn. And I love it. I love the scrappy blankets. I love the leftovers. So there is another baby blanket. Or a lap size blanket or a small throw. I have a love affair with baby blankets because they're small, they're quick, and they're easy. But there are bigger blankets in my pile. Alright, so since that one was all pink, this one is all blues and grays, and it is still half double crochet in between the stitches. It is made with Lion brand mandala yarn. Mandala, depends on how you say it. I think it's only like 1 cake, possibly 2. But then I used this this black yarn for the border that's got specks of white in it. I actually like that. So not everything is all pink for me. I do blue on occasion, even though it's not my favorite. But I like this one for some reason. I like the way it does the gradient color. I think that's what that is. I like that. So, how many blankets we up to? Is that 20 or is that 5? Alright, this one's bigger. This is more of almost a twin size, like it would fit a twin size bed. And this is my favorite. And I had made this as a grandbaby blanket. I'm hoping that someday when my kids are older, they will give me some grandbabies. And I made this blanket in preparation for those grandbabies. Am I ready for grandbabies now? No, because my kids are 19, 18, and 16 now. But this was a crochet along from Sandra. Her blog is Cherry Heart. And I think she did the crochet along with Black Sheep Wools, I want to say. Now, I didn't use the yarn that they had for the crochet along and for the kit. And I do my own thing. But it was a beautiful blanket. What was it called? Nature's Walk. And they did a whole bunch of granny squares. They're not all traditional grannies. But I love this blanket. It came out beautiful. And I cannot wait until I do the video for this one to show you guys. It's absolutely beautiful. And I love it. And what she did for the border, check this out. The border has little hearts built into it. This blanket is so pretty. Let's see if I can. Ready? See how big that is? But see, I'm like thinking, okay, no, yeah, it's completely done. But I'm looking at it, and it's got a yarn tail. Got a yarn tail sticking out right there. Always leave one sticking out so the blanket is not done. It's almost done. Because sometimes I think I want to keep everything I make. I don't know. I got issues. But anyway, this one's my favorite. This one's beautiful and I love it. Okay. My husband's helping me today because all the blankets are piled up on the couch and I can't reach all of them. Okay, so what is this one? This one is just plain old single crochet. I was playing around with color placement and what I did with the border. Alright, so I did this mustard yellow, right? In a nice big color block. You know I like my color blocks, right? Then I moved to this pumpkin orange. And then I did this Victorian rose pink. And I love this. And it is all just single crochet, right? And it's another baby blanket. But what I did on the border though, what did I do on the border? Chain one, single crochet, chain one, single crochet. Oh, I don't know. I'll have to get back to you, but I was playing around with new borders and I had come up with something that I really like because I like the texture that this gives. And right off the top of my head, I can't remember what I did, but I will find the notes for when I go to do a video. And again, yarn tails sticking out because I refuse to finish them. See that? Which tempts my cats to chew on it, which is why all my blankets are hidden in boxes, bins, and bags so the cats don't chew on them. Okay. Ooh, this one is so pretty. Half double crochet in between stitches. Yep, that's my love affair right there. So it is a long, it is cake yarn, could possibly be Premier, I'm not sure. It's not their sweet rolls, I actually have a blanket with their sweet rolls. But it is, you know, the greens with a little bit of purple, a little bit of pink, a little bit of white. I think this is 2 cakes of yarn. And then I did gray on the border. I love this one. Yeah, okay, I don't see any yarn tail sticking out of that one, so that one looks like it's done. You guys ready for this one? This blanket is over 6 feet tall, okay? I'm going to let most of it sit on the floor because it's heavy. Okay. Can you see this? This is Red Heart Super Saver. The color is called Peruvian Print. And I had bought, when I had seen it in the store, in like Joann's years and years and years ago, I bought like 5 skeins of it, okay? And then my mom bought some, and then I needed some more because when I started making this blanket, partway through I realized I wanted to be a very big blanket. I wanted it to be a manly blanket. I wanted it to be able to fit a tall man so he could cover up his shoulders and his feet at the same time, because, you know, I have a husband who's tall, and blankets, they either cover his shoulders or cover his feet, and don't do both, right? So that's what I was making this for men, okay? So it's this wide, and it's like 6 or 7 feet tall. I wound up using 19 skeins of Peruvian Print, and it is a beautiful, beautiful color that they did with Red Heart. And I don't know if they still make it. And then my stitch was a single crochet, 2 double crochets in the same spot, and then when you come back through on the next row, you do your single crochet and 2 doubles in the single crochet of the row before. So it gives it this little puffed out texture, almost like a puff stitch or a bobble stitch, but not quite. And I love it. But the reason it's not done is because I wasn't sure if I wanted to put a border on it. And that's what happens with some of my blankets. I get so stuck on whether or not they need a border. And I wasn't sure with this one. And I'm actually, all these years later, I'm still not sure. But it is a beautiful, Beautiful blanket. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get it all together so my husband can take it. Oh, God, it must weigh like 10 pounds. And another big one. Alright, so, you know when Karen Cakes came out with their cake yarn, everybody else wanted to imitate them. So, Premier did it. They came out with their sweet rolls, and they were only like 4 or 5 ounces instead of the big 7 ounces. But I liked their color choices too, so I did what I did with Karen Cakes. I bought one, and then bought another, and then bought another. And the next thing I know, I've got like 20 cakes of yarn, and I didn't know what to do with them. Well, it's not a new pattern, okay? It's been around for a while. It's called Jacob's Ladder. I just did my own version of it, okay? And it's where this little loop right here is actually 10 chains. Alright, so the blanket was wider. And then when you get done, you go and loop all those 10 chains together, and it creates texture going up and down the blanket. And I love it, but it is every single color that the Sweet Rolls had out years ago. And then I did a purple border on it. But like this one's called like Salt and Pepper. Then there's the pink. Then there's the green and the brown with a little bit of blue. And there's purple. And then there's these peanut butter browns and almost like a mustard yellow. Put some blues in there. Some reds. And again, this should fit a twin size bed, at least top to bottom, left and right. Maybe. I don't know. I'll get you more measurements when I do the video. So more blues and purples. Some seafoam green. Some more yellows and browns. More blues and purples, and reds, and blues, brown, purple. Now these are all separate cakes of yarn. They are all different colors. This green, which I really didn't like this green too much, but that's okay. This one, these strawberry pinks, I love this color. And then more gray and white down at the bottom. This blanket is very big, it's wide, it's warm, and I think, no, it's not done. See, look, yarn tails. See, I refuse to finish my blankets. I don't know why. I have issues. I need a therapist. No, I'm just going to throw this one back on the couch. Because it is so big. Here, take a look. See? It's heavy. Okay. Timing on my camera says we've got 8 minutes, and then I'm going to go take a break and have something to drink. Another baby blanket. Made with Line Brand Mandala. Their cake yarn. And again, it is half double crochet in between stitches. I like the colors on this. Whatever color they called this, I really like the burnt reds and oranges and the purple that goes in the blue and the green and the yellow. I really like this. Kind of reminds me of sunset or sunrise or something to do with the sun. My husband, he laughs at me in the background because I'm funny. Or I think I'm funny. Yeah, there we go. Another baby blanket. And another baby blanket. Half double crochet in between stitches. And again, I think it's Premier yarn, but they're other cake yarn. Now, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. But I like the yellows and the grays. Well, that's pretty. Oh, and that one's all done. I don't see any yarn tails. I think I was playing around with the border on that one too. Yeah, I did a half double crochet, chain one, half double crochet on the border. Right? Okay. This one is Feather and Fan. I mentioned this one in one of my other videos recently because I used the Karen Simply Soft Light. So it's like, it's a number 3 lightweight yarn. And I did it in a rainbow type where, you know, I've got the pink, the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, the purple, and then cream. And then the same colors just rearranged in a different order. So every time I did a row of creamy white, I rearranged the color order of the pink, and the orange, the yellow, the green, the blue, the purple. So it's all done in Feather and Fan, and it came out super soft, and it's got a lot of drape to it. Yeah, it's baby sized, and you see, because I changed colors every other row, every 2 rows, that I have a lot of yarn tails to sew in. So this was purely a laziness thing. That's why it's not done. Great. I mean, my goodness, my cats would love that. Look at this. Look at all those yarn tails. Are you guys bored yet? Because I'm not even halfway through the pile yet. Alright, so this is the velvet yarn. It's 100% polyester. And everybody had a love affair with this a couple of years ago, and I don't see why. I bought some, I used it, and I was like, I don't get it. It's very hard to work with, and your hook is always getting stuck, and because it's thick and it's polyester, you lose your stitch definition. So I don't understand what the big deal was with this stuff. So I've got this teal color, then I've got the gray, and then I've got this fuchsia kind of pink down at the bottom. And then for the border, I did this. It's half tan, half beige. I mean, it's okay. It's soft, but it's not very warm. But I guess we'll talk about that when I get to this one, right? Okay. I was in my local thrift store one day, and I found a vintage sheet, a top sheet for your bed. And it was a stripy one. It had green, it had yellow, it had pink, and it had blue. And I liked the stripiness, I liked the vintage-ness of it, straight out of the 70s, that I decided to make a blanket to go along with the sheet, okay? So I color matched, and I used Red Heart Super Saver in their light blue, yellow, and pink. I think the green is from Vanna or from Bernat. And I also used Red Heart Super Saver in soft white, and I did the linen stitch. Single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, come back and do your single crochet in the chain 1 space. And it was going along really well. But at some point I got bored because it was taking me forever, and I was changing color on every single row. You should see the yarn tails down here. Every single row. And I'm like, you know what? At this point, I might as well just make fringe out of it, right? So I got bored. Then I decided I was going to do bigger color blocks. Do 2 rows of green instead of 1. And then 2 rows of the white and 2 rows of the green. And then I got bored again and changed my number sequence again. And then I was like, you know what? Let's make it a sample blanket and turn it sideways and do single crochets in the back loop only. And then I decided I'm going to do granny squares and attach granny squares to it. So this blanket is a long-term, ongoing project that I've had no motivation to go back to. So maybe by the time I get around to doing the video on this one, I can figure out what I want to do. I don't know if it's a failure or not. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. But, because it's only like half size. But there you go. sometimes these blankets in my pile, or blankets of shame. Alright, need to take a break. Okay, go ahead and ask me why I'm going so quick. It's because I have a lot of blankets. I have been doing nothing but steadily making blankets since 2010. Actually, my whole life. Okay? So I have to go through these very quickly because my next step is to organize them. So then I can make videos on them. Alright, this one, it's such a fall theme. I wanted something so you can sit around the campfire outside, right? So I've got this red. This is from Red Heart with Love, I think. Check out this red. And then this variegated color. I think they called this Fruit Punch. Maybe. Then there's some green. The variegated. And then the orange. And then blue for the border. This variegated color from Red Heart, I match this so well because this blue is from Vanna. Okay, and the orange. I mean, look how close that orange is. Here's the orange from the variegated. Here's the orange that I picked. The colors are spot on. My green is a little darker than the green in the variegated, but that's fine. And then look at that reddish pink. I mean, it's a little darker in the variegated, but it was such a good color match. But it didn't have a lot, so the blanket is actually pretty narrow because it is just meant for your lap. Or, if you wanted, you could wear it like this while you're outside. And then I was playing around with the border. I did a V-stitch, and then I did this little picot stitch on top of the V-stitch to make it look like little flowers, right? And again, yarn tails. But I like this one. This one, it came out so pretty. It's kind of small, you know? Yeah, I'll take those 3 or 4. There's 3 or 4 of them there. Okay. So for a little while, I decided I wanted to make little baby blankets. They're little security blankets. They're little lovies that they like to carry around. So this one is a star. 12-point star, I think. Don't make me count the points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I should never second guess myself. It is a 12-point star. It is made with Lion Brand Mandala, and it should just be 1 cake of yarn. Ooh, I just pulled out that last stitch. Oh my god, I didn't even tie it off. Guys, I was playing around with making little lovies for the babies. See? It's got some nice drape to it. So does it count as a blanket? No, but it is in my project pile. And then, because I had another color, I did it in the blues and the grays. In a granny hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. So I was doing the hexagon for the granny, but at some point I wound up with too many stitches. So it's a little wonky. But I think it would still work as a lovey for a baby. And you're not thinking, okay, we'll crochet a little amigurumi head and put a head on there. Nah, it's not my strong suit to crochet little stuffed parts. I might just leave it like that. So there's another little baby lovey. Nice long yarn tail on that one for the cats to chew on. So the feather and fan blanket that I showed you, no, not the feather and fan. The Nature's Walk that I'm saving for my own grandchildren if I ever have any. I had leftovers, so I made a little granny square. Look at that. That is so cute. And because it came out so well, I'm like, okay, I need to go buy more of this yarn and make more granny squares like this, right? I love this. It came out so cute. And it was just done with leftovers. So ladies, I'm telling you, dig into the leftovers that you have. I will do a video on this because it came out a perfect size for a little security blanket or a lovey for the babies. And I'll do a video on it so you guys can make some yourself if you want. Because a lot of people don't have patience to make blankets, especially big blankets, and I do. I love making big blankets. But I also like making baby blankets and the little ones, you know? This one was fun. And I think the colors came out fantastic. Yeah, I can't wait till we do a video on that one. Because out of all of this, I do have my absolute favorites. Okay, so you know my Karen Cakes blanket that I made a pattern for. This was the other cake yarn that I had tried it with. It is Bernat Pop is what they call their cake yarns, and this one's, the color is called Planetary. Starts with the gray, the white, the purple, the green, and that's it. That's as far as the cake went. It wasn't a lot. Their cakes are smaller than Karen Cakes. And their texture, because it's 100% acrylic, their texture is a bit weird. So since I didn't have enough to do a whole blanket like my Karen Cakes, I added in some Red Heart Super Saver. So there's some green, there's some brown, there's some orange, some warm brown, and my favorite, the soft white. So now I've got the striping going on like I do on my Karen Cakes blankets, right? So it's my same pattern. And I think it came out okay. So you can use my pattern with solid colors. You can control the striping, you know, or you can just make it a full-on solid color. But solid colors are dull and boring. So then there's another ball of the cake yarn that's Planetary was the color. And then I repeated my Red Heart Super Saver. And then another cake of the Planetary. And then I repeated my Red Heart Super Saver. And it's done. And I keep meaning to dig it out and show it to you that other cake yarn can possibly be used. Solid colors can be used. But it turns out this one was in a bin all the way at the bottom of the pile. It's like no wonder I couldn't find it to show it to you. So not baby size, but not bed size. It's a throw size blanket. Whew, oh, leftovers from Karen Simply Soft. Oh, you know what? I actually have more. Okay, so I fell in love with Karen Simply Soft a couple of years ago. I tried it in the 80s and in the 90s, but for some reason the way I crochet, I was always splitting the yarn. Always. So I stayed away from Karen Simply Soft. And then one day I'm in the store and I saw their color selection. I'm like, you know what? I'm older now. I've got a little bit more control with my hook. Let me try them out again. And I fell in love. So I bought one of every color. And I've done all kinds of things with my Karen Simply Soft. So this is just leftovers. So some of their brights and their neon colors that I mixed with some pastels. But what kind of pattern did I use? The Drunken Granny. The slanted shell. It's technically called a slanted shell from way, way, way back in the day. But nowadays, the girls are calling it the Drunken Granny, which is okay, but it's a slanted shell. It's where you do a single crochet or a half double, I can't quite tell without my glasses on, and then you chain one, you create a chain one space, and then you do 2 double crochets, and when you come back you work that shell into that chain one space. So then your little cluster, it leans this way on one row, and then it leans this way on the next row, and then it leans and it leans. So it's fun to work when you're doing it, and that's what I used for this blanket. Now I don't know if this blanket is done or not. I did this watermelon pink, and then the strawberry pink, and then the purple, and then the darker purple, and this awesome shade of blue with the baby blue. And you see a pattern emerging there, right? light colors, dark colors, dark colors, light colors. And then this light shade of minty green with this neon green that they have. It's a good size, right, for your lap. I think I wanted to go further, and I couldn't find all of my yarn to see if I had any more of that highlighter yellow that they have, and see if I could keep going. So this one, I think I might be adding more to it once I have all my Caron Simply Soft in one spot. But I'll let you guys know. And hopefully I'll find my notes and I can tell you a little bit more about that stitch, because the stitch is fun to work with. And it really does create quite a bit of, you know, zigzagging in the pattern, and I like that. Ooh, you guys ready for some granny squares? Little baby squares. Oh, look at this. Okay, variegated. Variegated. Ooh, check out that pink one, right? Check out that yellow one. So, variegated black, and it creates kind of like a stained glass look to it. I used, what yarn did I use? I don't know. I cannot think of it off the top of my head. So, I did the linen stitch for the border, okay? One round of black, one round of the variegated, then black, and then variegated. And look at that. It came out beautiful, right? Can I show you guys? That was the corner. Here's my other corner, right? But here's where I joined it. And it actually accidentally made a fifth corner. I was so sad about this and so angry about this. I actually have to take all this out because of my join was horrible. So even crocheting for 40 years or a lifetime, you can still mess up and not realize it. You know when I realized it? When I was all done, I laid the blanket out on the floor and I'm looking at it and I've got one extra corner. I can't do anything with that. I have to fix it. Which makes me sad, but I have to fix it. Because that looks ridiculous. Look, 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 look. Don't be too mad at yourself if you screw it up. Most of the time, crocheting can be fixed. It's just whether or not we're mentally capable and emotionally capable of fixing it. But this blanket is absolutely beautiful. I think a kid would love to have this one and play around with this one, drag it around the house and have picnics on it and make a fort out of it. I don't know. Do you think the kids are going to care that there's an extra little lumpy corner on there? No, probably not. But I got to get their moms to be able to buy it, so it's got to look perfect, right? Oh, but I love that one. Beautiful. Yeah, getting fibers all over my shirt. Okay. For a while there, I was in love with the waffle stitch. And you'd be like, waffle stitch? Yes, because it looks like a waffle. It's raised here, and it's raised here, and it goes in there, so it's got that little pocket, makes it look like a waffle. Frozen waffles right out of your toaster. And how do you do that? Double crochets, front post double crochets, back post double crochets. So for a while there, I was in love with that. And I made a few blankets and have since realized I don't actually like it. I like working front post and back post double crochets, but do I like the full-on waffle texture? Nah. No. It's not for me. But I do like to mix solid colors with variegated colors, and then more solid colors, and then variegated colors, okay? Again, this one is a mix of yarns. It'll be Red Heart, Super Saver. It will be Vanna's Choice, and I think it is Caron 1 pound. I think. But it's lap size, and I think it's got some really pretty colors going on. I would like to do these colors in a more simple pattern, okay? But again, I was stuck on whether or not I wanted to put a border on it. So I just kind of stopped and left it. Now it does have a match, because anytime I do anything that's pink, I will always do one in blue. It's sitting over there under my husband's butt. Do you think you can pull the blue one out? I'll do the blue one next. No, it was full on, literally under your butt. It's blue and gray. Yeah. Okay. So, you see that one? Now this is the back side of the blanket, okay? It doesn't look like the waffling texture. So here's my other one. Okay? So 2 blankets that are the same. There is a third one, but my little nephew Caleb has that one. Because that was the best one that I made, and I should have stopped there. So, that one's got pinks and browns, well, light shades of brown, and this one is blues and grays, and yes, I have it upside down. Okay, and it is, this one should be all Red Heart Super Saver, maybe some Bernat Super Value thrown in because of the colors. I mean, these are great colors, but I think the colors got lost in the pattern. So I would like to use these colors again in something a little simpler. And again, yarn tails. Because I refuse to finish anything. Life of a blanket maker, right? You want to see what we call an ugly blanket? An ugly blanket, you make it with your leftovers, with your scrap yarn, literal scrap yarn, okay? With no, you don't try to put it in, alright, you don't try to put it in an order that makes sense, or complementary, or anything like that. You just do a thing. So most of this is Karen Simply Soft, but it's leftovers from other people's projects that I wound up inheriting. So that's why there's no rhyme or reason to it. And it's just, I did a panel, which is all double crochets, right? I started out with the green, went into the brown. Started out with a lighter green, went into a lighter brown. There's a darker green with some tan and some coral, some gray, some blue. You get it? Pink and blue, they don't match. Pink and orange. Pink and red and pink. And then you put it together with all brown. And then I did this, when I crocheted it together, I did a single crochet, chain one, and a single crochet to join it. And it came out with this bumpy texture, and I love this. But we affectionately call these ugly blankets. And it's not the first one that I've made. It's just the first one that you're going to see. Because the others have been out and about, and they're being used. But yeah, there we go. We affectionately call this an ugly blanket. And I don't know, that one makes me laugh. Okay, another waffle stitch. Okay. But not a full-on waffle. I went with the soft textured waffle on this one. Okay, and you guys know there's blankets out there from Hudson Bay where they're a white or a cream color, and then they've got the blue stripe, the red stripe, the green stripe, the yellow stripe, I want to say. It's a Canadian blanket. It's made out of wool. It had to do with trading way back in the day. I like the look of the Hudson Bay blanket where it's got the 4 stripes on one end and 4 stripes on the other, and it's got all that that white or that cream in the middle. I like that, and I wanted to crochet a version of it. And I did. Mine was bright white with jewel tones. I did blue, green, red, and purple because I didn't like my choices of yellow. And then unfortunately I don't have that blanket with me, and because somebody else has it. Then I wanted to make a second one, but with more fun colors. So I actually did it kind of like a beach ball. I did this light shade of blue, this orange, the green, and then the pink, right? And then I've got this whole big color block of white. And then I did the stripes again. The pink, the green, the orange, the blue. It looks similar to the Hudson Bay blankets. And this one is fully done. Just, you know, I haven't been able to let go of it because it's so cute. I don't use it though. It sits in a box. It's waiting for its perfect owner to come along. But again, double crochets with some front post and back post to give it some texture. I think this is one of my oldest blankets that I need to let go of. Yeah, I did that one. Yeah, that's got 4. Yep. Yep. Okay. So you know that I like Lion Brand, their ice cream yarn. You've seen me go through my yarn pile with them, right? These are 4 blankets I tried making with them, and I say tried because they came out small. Go stretch your legs for a minute. So this is a cake or a ball of the Lion Brand ice cream in their blue color, and I love working with this yarn. This yarn was so soft and so much pleasure to work with this one. Okay, so it's a linen stitch, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, come back on the next row, put your single crochet in the chain 1 space, and on, right? So linen stitch, some people call it a moss stitch, some people call it a seed stitch, depends on whether or not you knit or crochet. Everybody's got a little bit of different terminology for it. I call it a linen stitch most of the time. But see how it came out narrow? So it's actually even too small for a baby. But it came out kind of long. And then, because it's something where I like to just sit and just crochet back and forth, I didn't give any thought to it that when I was done with the blue one, I went and grabbed the pink and I made a pink one. So it's still just as narrow as the blue one, and it's still just as tall as the blue one. And I'm like thinking, you know, maybe I could just stitch them together and there would be pink and blue in the blanket, right? And it's still a possibility. And then I did this other variegated color that they have. It's got blue, yellow, orange, purple, blue, yellow, orange, purple with some white in it. So it doesn't quite exactly match the pink and the blue here, but I just kept going. At the time, I was probably very stressed, and I probably just needed to sit at the end of the day and work on something, so I didn't give any thought as to what I was going to do with these afterwards. And I wanted something that would have worked up very quickly, hence it being so narrow. So now I have to come up with a plan for them all these years later. Either I'm going to undo them and reuse the yarn, or I'll stitch them all together and make a big blanket. So then I also did it in their gray and white. And I tried putting a border on this one, and I put black on there, and I don't like the black. I'm taking the black off. So this one is the same size. No, I think this one's a little bigger than the other 3. I'm wondering if I used a bigger hook. So, are they blankets? Yeah, I don't know. But they're in my blanket pile. So there's 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe I'll see what kind of colors that Lion Brand has now with their ice cream yarns and see if I can find maybe the purple or the green that they have is complementary, and I can just put them all together as panels and make a bigger blanket. Maybe. If you guys have any ideas, let me know down in the comments below. Okay, so again, wow, my husband's holding up his fingers. Tell me I only got 4 minutes to go before my camera shuts off again. Like, where'd the time go? Again with the cake yarns, right? Now these are different brands, and I mixed them all together and I did granny stripes. So it's the granny cluster, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. You come back, you do your 3 double crochets in the chain 1 space, right? So it's just back and forth in a granny row. It is... Funny thing is, I think this is one of the Karen cakes. I think it's one of their cotton ones. But I don't know the rest of these cakes. Were they sweet rolls? Possibly. I have the ball bands, the yarn labels somewhere around, but they are a mix of companies. They are a mix of colors, because I like doing things with lots and lots of colors, and I like doing things in a scrappy, in a scrappy manner. Um, it's got a single crochet border of some random yarn. I don't even know. So it's lap size or a small throw size. And it's all done. I got one that has no yarn tails. Alright, so this one. Oh, check out those colors. The creams, the purples, and the grays, and the beige, and the grays. Grays. That's a word that should get out of our dictionary. Half gray, half beige. I don't remember what yarn company this is. I was playing around with the single crochet and the back loop only to give it some texture. And it did. Gave it some texture. It's got a lot of drape to it. But off the top of my head, I can't remember what kind of yarn I used. But that one's all done. That's nice and soft. I like that. Hang in there with me. We've got 10, 15 to go. Why do I hold on to all of them? That is the question. I know part of it is because I've been crocheting for so long and I gave so many things away that I have forgotten more than I remember, and I didn't want to forget anymore. So I wanted to be able to write down notes and take a picture and keep a catalog or a notebook of everything that I've made over the years. And then because I make faster than I write down my notes and faster than I take pictures, I just haven't been able to keep up with it. Because for a while there, my depression was really bad, so crocheting I did it every day, and I just went from one blanket to the next, to the next, to the next. And I couldn't even keep up with my own mind and my own creativeness. It just comes so quickly for me. So in the last couple of years, I've been able to slow down a little bit, and that's part of what I'm doing here, going through my yarn stash and working through my issues with crocheting and how much I own. But then there's also how much I make, and with no plan for it to either give it away or sell it. And so I'm keeping it because I don't want to forget anymore. But now that everything's easier digital wise, I could take a picture, keep it in my computer. I can write notes in any note taking app or in Word or Open Office. I can write notes now. So, and that's part of what I'm doing as I'm going through this. I am transferring all of my notes and pictures into the computer, which is why sometimes it takes me so long in between the videos. So be patient. If there's a blanket that you like, know that I am getting to it, okay? And patterns that you like, I am getting to it. It's just I have a lot to go through, so I have to do it in my time frame and not yours. And this is not an insult. I'm not trying to complain, but there are some people out there who are like, gimme, 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 gimme. I want, I want, I want. And I'm like, I have to do this at my own speed and in my own way. So for those of you who are still here, thank you so much. I love you for it, and I appreciate it so much. So these two blankets here are made with Red Heart Soft. So Red Heart, maybe as a company, they got tired of hearing everybody complain about how scratchy Super Saver was, so they decided to come out with a new yarn called Red Heart Soft. And it is a satiny type of texture, like Simply Soft from Karen. And their color selection when they first started out was kind of small. I mean, it's bigger now, because I actually made Sophie's Universe with Red Heart Soft, and you should see my Sophie blanket. She's beautiful. So I was just playing around with color placements and seeing what colors worked well together. And so there is some gray, some fuchsia or wine. I have a think they think they call this one wine, and then the light shade of pink, and plain old basic bright white. Okay, my pattern for this is, it's like that linen stitch, but not. When you do the single crochet and chain one, when you come back on the next row, your chain one goes over the chain one and your single crochet goes in the single crochet. So it's a little different than the linen stitch. But what it does is it creates this wonderful texture. and drape to the blanket, okay? Now, if you pull on it, it's going to feel a little holey. You can stick your fingers through there, through the chain ones. But if you're somebody who just likes to sit with your blanket and snuggle, then it's perfect. Now, I didn't make them very wide or very long because their ball of yarn is only like 3.5 ounces, 4 ounces. I want to say 4, maybe 5 ounces, maybe. So I didn't make it very wide, but it is enough to sit on the lap. And it's got a kind of like a retro feel a little bit with the color blocking that I got going on here. So I made 2 of them in the single crochet chain 1, and then do the single crochet in the single crochet in the chain 1 over the chain 1. I did 2. This one is got way more of a retro vibe to it because of the colors. Because these are my kind of colors right here. So here's the creamy white, right? And then into this light teal that's sitting on top of this awesome orange, which is sitting on top of this warm brown. This one is so my kind of vibe, my kind of colors. I love this one. I would take these colors, and I actually did. I put them in my Sophie's Universe blanket with other colors to complement them all. But this is where I got my color inspiration for my Sophie blanket. Sophie it was a crochet along years and years and years ago by Deirdre. At Look at What I Made, that's her blog. Oh, it's a beautiful blanket. When I get to my Sophie blanket, when I show it to you, I'll put links for her crochet along and her blog. But this one, I love the colors on that. Beautiful. My husband, he left me. He's out doing laundry. How dare he? Okay. I bought a blanket from the thrift store a couple years ago. We actually use it for football games, right? I showed it to you in a recent video where it's a row of red, and then whoever made it had done a row of random colors: yellow, blue, green, purple, and on. It's a leftovers blanket, but they used red as their main color, and then they alternated. They must have been using scrap yarn. Well, I had liked the pattern that I tried to recreate it myself, and I think I did. Check out my blanket. I love this so much. This is done with those little cakes of yarn that they put pom-poms on the top of them so you can make baby hats out of them. What is the name of that yarn? Oh my god, I can't remember. So I actually, a couple years ago, I actually started putting notes, tying notes right onto my blanket. So this says, August 11th, 2019, find the yarn and make this bigger / taller. I wrote myself a note to make it bigger and taller. So I am alternating. So there is a row of white shells, and then there is a row of this variegated from the yarn. So this is the boy color that is blues and greens and grays, and then the girl color, which is the pinks, the yellows, and the greens. And I absolutely love this yarn, even though I cannot remember the name of it. So that's one side. Right? So you see how the creamy white is really highlighted on that side? Well, when you turn it around, the colors are highlighted on this side, right? So again, it's a lot of yarn tails, and I had ran out of yarn, and I wanted to make it bigger because it's not very tall, even though I actually made it pretty wide. And I did buy more yarn at some point. It just wound up in a different bin or box or bag. So I'm looking forward to getting this one back together and then doing a video on this and showing you guys the pattern that I came up with based on a blanket that I bought from the thrift store. And this one's going to need a really good name too. So for those of you who are really creative with naming blankets, I'm going to need a name for this one. Other than, oh my god, it's so pretty. I can't name them all that, right? Alright, that's okay, husband. I've got two sitting here with me. This one is either the extended single crochet or the extended half double crochet. And I will have to take a video to explain that one to you. So this yarn is from Michaels. It's their in-house brand. It's called Loops and Threads, and then they named it Snuggly Wuggly. So that's their purple color. And then this is their blue and teal color. So yeah, I get bored with the colors. That's why my blankets are often two-toned. And then I had done this border. I don't like the border. I have to redo it. It came out too big and too airy when the blanket itself is actually a bit denser. So I plan on taking this border out and coming up with something else. So that's why this one is still sitting around. And then because they discontinued the Snuggly Wuggly in the colors that I had bought, and then they rebranded, and then they came back with different colors that were slightly different than what I've got here. So I was also shopping on eBay to see if anybody had any of the older colors. So this one is not baby size. It can almost fit your twin bed with its length. Almost. But there, see? I love mixing colors in my blankets. Do not be afraid of color in your blankets, okay? And do not worry about what anybody else thinks. It's only if you're happy. Because everybody has different color preferences. So do what makes you happy. And if somebody doesn't like it, tell them to go take a flying leap, right? Okay. Well, I just roll my eyes at them because they're allowed to have their opinions. I just don't want to hear them. Okay. Breathe. I have a lot of blankets. Red Heart, again, Super Saver, and they came out with those ombre colors, which are gradients, where they start with a darker shade of blue or pink or green or purple, and then they go to a lighter shade, lighter shade, lighter shade, lighter shade, until they get to the lightest shade that can almost pass for white. So that's what these are. This is their blue color, and I cannot tell you what it's called. It's just, I'm going to go with blue, and then I stopped, and then I added in the pink, or the peachy, or the coral. There's a possibility this is coral. I'm not sure. And then I have this green. I actually put the green after the pink here, but the green was way too dark. And I actually showed you that green in one of my yarn bins weeks and weeks ago. It was too dark for this blanket, so I took the green off, and I've been looking for the perfect color to finish this one, because I think it needs one more color block. But I'm not sure which one will work next to this peachy coral. Maybe one of the neutrals. Maybe one of their browns and their tans, maybe. I'm not sure. So this one is another pattern that I created all on my own. I did a V-stitch. And then there's a double crochet by itself. And then there's 3 double crochets like the granny, but it's in the V-stitch from the row below it, right? So the double crochet sits on top of the double crochet. V-stitch on top of the granny. Granny inside the V-stitch. I think it came out with some really good texture on this. So this one is waiting for me to find the perfect color to finish it off. I need something that will go well with the blue and well with the coral. And plus the ombre yarn wasn't cheap at the time. It was like $10. Hopefully the prices come down a little bit since then. Alright, how about a really big blanket with the spider stitch? My first blanket that I showed you is spider stitch, right? And it's single crochet, chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch, okay? It's like a V-stitch, but shorter. And you've got to see this texture that it creates. Okay? I don't know if my camera can pick it up very well. My camera doesn't focus properly because it's an old camera. But it creates this texture, and I love this. This yarn is a mix of 2 different companies, I think. I think it's Red Heart and Vanna, or that Pearl Essence from Joann's before they discontinued it, possibly. So we've got white, we've got the lighter pink, and then I went to white again, and then that fuchsia pink, white again, and then the light pink, and then white again. Now this blanket is as big as it's going to get. I did do the last row of single crochet, again, with these yarn tails. I had so much fun working with the spider stitch, and this was this first spider stitch blanket that I made before I made that baby blanket. This one is beautiful, and it is so soft, and it's so squishy. And look, I do occasionally use stitch markers. But you know what I do? Just like with my hooks, I leave my stitch markers with my projects, so while I have them, they are scattered throughout all of these projects. So that's why I keep a random ball of yarn sitting next to me and use that to create stitch markers, because everything else is in the projects. Oh, this is, oh, I'm just sitting here folding it. It is so soft. It's so pretty. Oh, I hope I can find a good home for this one. Hope I can find a good home for all of them. So are you guys keeping track? Because after blanket number 1, I haven't counted. Alright. Just a basic granny square. Okay? It's done in, I want it to look like the sock monkeys. I mean, you know, the sock monkeys are usually a brownish and a white, but some of them are gray and white. So that's what this is. It's gray and white marl, and you know, where it's white fibers and gray fibers twisted together. And then I put in a medium shade of gray, and then I finished it off with this dark maroon wine red color. And I wanted to find a sock monkey to go along with it because it's a baby blanket size. But I haven't found the right perfect sock monkey yet. Ooh. Cat damage. I'm going to have to fix that. So be careful with your cats. They love yarn and they love to tear it apart. So I occasionally have to fix things when my cats are all over them. You know, this one I could have sworn I made 2 blankets out of this one. Notes to myself. Alright, hold on, crafters. I'll show you in a minute. This is, sweet rolls again, I think. Sorry, I'm eating yarn fibers. Doc said get more fiber in your diet. You think he meant yarn fiber? My husband's shaking his head at me. This, I think it is the Premier Sweet Rolls. Okay, and I think they're ones that I didn't use in my Jacob's Ladder blanket because they came out with softer colors. So there should be 1 cake there with the purple and the pinks. This one here should be cream and blue and purple. And then this, oh, I love this one. Now, this is how I like my tans to go. I like the medium shade of tan, lighter shade of tan, and then the creamy white. I like that. And then you throw in this peachy coral with the brown. I like that. More blue and white and brown. And peach and pink and white. And then more coffee colors. Okay, so this one again is the spider stitch. Okay. My note to myself. It says August 12th, 2019. Does this need more yarn? Does it need to be bigger? Well, in my world, yes, it needs to be bigger. Bigger is better. Go big or go home. So there we go. Does it need more yarn? Yes. Yes, it does. Does it need to be bigger? Yes. Yes, it does. So I guess just this one time, because I don't think I have any more yarn for it, I can go yarn shopping when I get to it. Oh, that one's soft too. Okay. Alright, I had some random balls of yarn that were a number 5 bulky. Okay, and it's not always my favorite kind of yarn to work with, but I had it. I don't know if I bought it myself or if it was given to me. And it's marl. Here's a good example of it, okay? Where it is white fibers twisted up with this teal fiber. That's what gives it the marl look. And it's spelled M-A-R-L or M-A-R-L-E. Okay? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 different balls of yarn here. And I did it in the feather and fan, but the pattern got kind of lost in the busyness of the yarn. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to take all this out and redo it and just do simple double crochets, maybe, or the half double, since I love doing the half double. So this one is going to be taken out and it's going to be redone because it got completely lost with the feather and fan pattern. It's on my list of things to do. Alright, I think we're getting down to the bottom of the pile. This one, did I show this one to you yet? I showed you the yarn. The Twinkle Twinkle Little Star yarn from Joann's that I mixed with, this is Karen Simply Soft in their grape purple. It is, again, it is a version of the waffle stitch. It is baby size. So this yarn is white and it has purple flecks and it has yellow flecks and it's hard for the camera to pick it up. And then I put on a purple border, and what I did was I had enough yarn to make another blanket and then do a yellow border, because I was thinking, you know, somebody who's having twins, they can have sort of matching blankets, you know. I just never got around to making the second blanket. I had the yarn for it, I never got around to it. And then my deconstructed Karen cakes, I just showed you these in a video the other day. They're going to get their own separate video because these came out beautifully and I think they were nice and simple and I think you guys are going to love them. So Karen cakes are the colors, and then this white is Red Heart Super Saver. Then I deconstructed the cakes and I made this stripy blanket that just, oh, it's so beautiful. I cannot wait until we do a video on that. So you know I made 2, one with the darker colors and then one with lighter colors, right? Beautiful. Alright, so how many blankets was that? Because I've got 2 things over there that are not blankets, and I'm going to show them to you anyway because they're in my blanket pile. And I'll take the skirt too while we're at it, because that'll be my finale. Alright, so every now and then when I'm doing color placement on a blanket, I will work up a strip of colors, okay? This one is, it's done with double crochets, right? I wanted to see how well this green and this pink would look together. Well, I gotta tell you, they don't look good together at all. The green is too spring and the pink is too pale, right? And then there's this one where I was playing around with the treble crochet, or in the US we call it a triple, where you yarn over twice and do a double crochet, right? I was playing around with that and I used some random bits of yarn, okay? So the colors were not for any particular color placement, but it was because I was playing around with the treble crochet, right? So there we go. And then Still with the treble. With the treble. Okay. And then there's this. I had all these little bits of yarn, and I didn't have anything to do with them. They were too small to do anything else other than like one row of double crochet. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 is my number when I'm working up samples. So these were just little bits that were left over from other projects that I had put together, right? So I took this sample, and this sample, and this sample. I put a white edge on it, and then I put it together in a scarf. There you go. It's an infinity scarf, which is sample colors, because I was bored. I don't know. So that's in my blanket pile. It's completely done. I don't know what to do with it, because I don't wear scarves like this because I'm already a warm person and I feel suffocated. But maybe somebody will find it nice and warm and cozy and want it, right? Or is it too random? I don't know. You guys let me know. So it's in my blanket pile because it's completely done. And then this. This is my Christmas tree skirt. Now, I wish I owned the pattern for this. I wish I could give you this pattern, but I cannot. It is in a magazine called Work Basket from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. I think mine is 1988 or 1989 that I have. There is a tiny little page in this Work Basket magazine that has a Christmas tree skirt. And the picture is so pixelated. 2 minutes. 28:01, 28:11. The picture is not pixelated, it's grainy, okay, because it is so old. And the directions are these tiny little paragraphs, okay, on that page, and then I have to flip like 30 pages later in this little Work Basket magazine, which I still have it. It's in my pile, okay, and I've been making this Christmas tree skirt since 1989. My original one, I had screwed it up. That's why it's mine, and I keep it, and all the others after that came out perfect, and everybody's got one. Mom's got one. Aunt Becky's got one. My sister's got one. My sister-in-law's got one. Everybody. Mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, everybody. Okay? So here it is, just folded in half, okay? It is double crochets. And then there is double crochets with a chain space to create this points like the 12-point star. And then you alternate between your solid color and then your white and then your color and then your white, right? Then you do it all over again, and you increase on the ends so it will be round and go around your tree. And when you're done, you do a scalloped border on it, and then in this chain one space, you are supposed to take ribbon and weave the ribbon through these spaces. Have I ever done that in any of my tree skirts? No. None of them have ribbon on them. I just leave it the way it is. So my original one is done in a, it's Red Heart Super Saver. It's the Patty Green with basic white. This is Hunter Green with soft white. I've done it in red and white. I've done it in white and red. I have done it in Victorian Christmas colors where it's a creamy color with mauve. That one came out beautiful. I'm actually working on one now to tweak the numbers a little bit, and it's got a Victorian feel to it. It's still creamy colors with some peach, and it's coming out beautifully. But I've been making this Christmas tree skirt since 1989, and I love it. But I cannot share the pattern with you because I do not own it. But I can point you in the right direction on where it's at. When I dig my patterns out, I will let you know which edition of Work Basket it is in, and maybe you can find a copy on the internet somewhere. I don't even know if it's still a company, but I love my Christmas tree skirt. Everybody loves my Christmas tree skirts. And that is my pile of blankets. Now you guys know what I'm dealing with when I tell you that I'm going through my stuff. This is overwhelming. I have so many ideas in my head, and they come so fast, and I don't know how to slow them down. I don't know how to rein them in. I'm so creative sometimes, and it gets on my nerves on occasion. But yeah, that's my blanket pile and my project pile. So you see how some of them are finished completely, and then some are, you know, the crocheting's done. It just needs yarn tails sewn in. And some of them are only halfway through because I need either more of the yarn or I'm stuck on color placement. Some of them are whether or not I'm going to put a border on them. So various stages, but that's a lot of blankets. So I'm curious as to know what my count is. Okay, so don't count the little baby blankets, the 3 little lovies. Don't count my scarf or the tree skirt. But everything else, how many blankets do I have? Because then that's not even counting the ones that I've already done videos for that are in a completely separate place. So when I'm done with you guys here, I am going to sit with them and my computer, because in my computer I have pictures of them so I can put dates on them so I can figure out which ones are my oldest and put dates on all of them and working up to today. And then so as I go through them, I can do the oldest so I can get them out of here. For some reason, having blankets from 2015 and 2016, it's bothering the crap out of me. So I'm going to try and get all my oldest ones done first. And so, I mean, we've got a lot of blanket videos coming your way, and they'll be every Sunday. And it's going to take me, I don't know, this is like 40 blankets maybe. Okay, that's 1 blanket a week, and it's going to be like 40 weeks. That's like being pregnant. It's going to take me 9-10 months to go through all this. Oh my goodness. So, stick around. It's going to be interesting. For sure. Alright, so that is it for today. Thank you guys for being here. I know it's a long one, and if you did make it this far, please give me a thumbs up down below and like the video, and comment. I can, you know, let me know how many blankets there were, because I honestly, I did not count them, okay? And to all you ladies who leave those lovely comments, thank you so much. I love you all, and I will see you on Wednesday with another What's in the Random Yarn Bin video, okay? Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye. Okay, let's do a postscript. P.S. I'm trying to do a picture for a thumbnail, right? Let me know, did you guys have a favorite blanket? Because I am willing to do them out of order a little bit. If there's one blanket that you would really like to see before all the others, just let me know. I can be flexible to a certain point, okay? So if there's one that you like and you really want to see it before I get to it, just let me know, okay? Bye!